Reggie Watts, welcome to Australian Musician.
Hey, nice to be here.
You're coming to Australia in November, yet you've been here several times before.
Yeah, I've been many times. Yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite places to be, really.
Yeah, I thought maybe you'd left your keys and wallet behind last time. You've come to collect them.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case. It feels like that. Maybe I left my spiritual keys and wallet.
The first time you landed in Australia, was there anything about the country you found particularly amusing?
Uh, I mean, the first time I came was with an Australian girlfriend to visit her family in Bundaberg. And I mean, just aside from just like everything, a lot of things hop, which is really good. And the bilbies were really cute. And that was the thing I probably remember the most.
Yeah. Do you find some kinds of music funny, and is there rhythm in comedy?
I mean, yeah, music obviously can be very, very absurd and silly by nature. It just depends on, who's doing it. Sometimes things that aren't intended to be silly sound silly, so it can happen by accident. Um, yeah, I mean, it's like music is inherent in everything. So, comedy is a prime example of all, based off of timing and things of that nature, which is kind of the nature of music as well.
Yeah. You're playing four shows here. One of them is part of the Just for Laughs festival in Sydney. You're playing the Sydney Opera House. How are your opera chops?
My opera chops. Well, I don't know, I think this will be my sixth time performing there. Um, and I've never thought to do opera, but now you've inspired me. Now I think I'm gonna have to do some.
Break out a little Rigoletto, perhaps?
Yeah, or some variation.
Of course, the Opera House is a significant building. Have you played many other venues that you consider significant, like the Royal Albert Hall or Carnegie Hall? And does it make a
Hmm.
difference?
I mean, certainly. I mean, it's I got to play Lincoln Center recently, and that was incredible. And yeah, and I played the Ryman, in Austin, and Berghain in Berlin, and a lot of uh, theaters in the UK. Walthamstow and Soho Theater, and the West, what's it called? West Bank, I think. No, not West Bank, right Bank, something Bank Theater Complex, the Queen's Theater. Anyways, yeah, so I've played a lot of places. I mean, the places themselves definitely have a spirit to them, and and you're aware of it when you're inside of it, and especially someplace like the Opera House. The Opera House is, I mean, it's just striking visually, and going into it and approaching it, so you're always reminded that you're in a special place, so it never feels rote or anything.
Yeah. Who was the first person that made you laugh really hard?
Hmm. I mean, oh man. I mean, the hardest, I think I remember laughing like earliest, it would have been, well, I think the Muppet Show had a newscaster, like a Muppet News Flash is what they'd call them, a Muppet News Flash. And one of those, the reporter is reporting on an unidentified flying object, and then and he doesn't even finish his sentence, and this giant, uh, like 2-ton weight crashes down on him in the desk. And I remember as a kid, like laughing for like an hour. I couldn't stop replaying it, and it just made me laugh infinitely. It was incredible.
Yeah. Excuse me, you never got to be on Sesame Street?
Man, no, I haven't. I would have loved to, but I've been on a lot of other kids shows, so
Yeah,
that's been nice.
yeah. Can we do a bit of a rig rundown and take us through what you use on stage?
Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm using I think it's called the Shure Nexodyne microphone. It's kind of like Like I was only using Beta 58s for a long time and I didn't use any other microphone, but then this microphone came along. One of the reps was nice enough to send one to me and I actually like it. It's very rare that I actually switch things. But yeah, so I'm running that microphone and then that's going into line 6 DL4. And then that's going out stereo into the Boss RC505 Mark II. And then I have the Teenage Engineering OP1 Field synthesizer. That is running into the secondary input of the Mark II. And then yeah, and that's usually the setup, and then that just runs out to house stereo. But there are times sometimes I will add, since there's XLR inputs on the back of the Mark II, sometimes I'll add an extra microphone so that it's like its own microphone that's not associated to the line 6. So I've been messing with that a little bit, and having two microphones, I can also mic two different things separately, which is kind of cool. But mainly I just use that former setup.
Yeah. Has it been a bit of a journey, rig-wise, to get where you're at?
I mean, I started with the Line 6. That's been the thing I've had the most since it came out, I think in 98 or 99, whenever it came out. I had it when it first came out, and I've been using it ever since. So that's probably the oldest piece of gear that I've used, at least when it comes to looping. And then yeah, and then I upgraded to the 4880 looper, or no, the Electrics repeater, which was a 4-track looper that unfortunately the company folded and they didn't have support for it anymore. But it was an amazing idea because I wanted a multi-track looper for a long time. And so then that one went away for a long time. It was just the Line 6, and then the 4880 came out. I think it's the 4880 or the 45,000, something like that. Anyways, the first Electro Harmonix 4-track looper that came out, and then they came out with a new version of that, and I think that might be the 4880. And then I had that one that had a few new free features. Then they came out with the 95,000, and that was a 6-track looper. And I was using that. I really loved it, but I was running into the issue of only the loop length being limited to the very first loop that you do. So once you lay down that first loop, if it's 4 bars, all the rest of the loops have to be 4 bars. But then other looping devices started breaking that trend, and then the Boss RC505 enabled you to do like a 1 bar loop for the first loop. The second loop could be 8 bars, and so on and so forth. And so I switched to that. I was kind of reluctant because I don't really like the look of the RC505. I think it looks too toy-like. But yeah, so that's what I'm using now, and that enables me, like, it's got onboard effects, which is really great, and I'm getting to know it a lot more, but it's not my perfect looper yet. But I will say the Line 6 is definitely something I'll probably always have, and also the OP1 is probably something I'll always have. Those are indispensable tools.
Yeah. So have you got to the stage where you can be your creative self without worrying too much about the technical side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about like operating my gear per se. I mean, the only times I have worries is if maybe, I don't know, I forgot to change my batteries, in one of the devices or whatever, because I everything I have is battery powered except for the MCR or the RC505. Um, so, maybe the OP1 doesn't have power. So, but these are all just like minor technical things that are solved. I don't really worry about technically like how my gear is going to work on stage. Um, that I'm pretty familiar with, and even if there are problems, I can kind of troubleshoot and make it part of the show. So yeah, so I welcome chaos like that sometimes.
Yeah. So in your comedy shows, did you get to bust out any Wajata or Capillac?
Well, I mean, no, not really. And Wahada stopped. Actually, yeah, we did our last show this summer. Just before, I think in July was our last show, which is an amazing run. It was incredible. Released a lot of music. So no, no, I don't really do any covers or anything like that. I mean, if I think of a song in the moment, I might sing it, but I don't. And usually they're very rarely my songs. In fact, I don't think they've ever been my songs. I mean, what I improvise in the music that you hear live is improvised, and those are my songs, but they're not pre-written songs. So no, not really.
Yeah. You collaborate a lot with your music. You did a thing with the Australian band Flight Facilities, a couple of songs, Sunshine and Stranded. How did that come about?
I think the first time I think they reached out just out of the blue, and then I think my management told me about it, and yeah, and then yeah, I think I met with them and we worked together. We did the song. It was really really fun, and then they wanted to work with me again on Stranded, and that was just simply them texting me and saying like, "You want to be a part of this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then we recorded it. I think I recorded it in like multiple locations because I don't think we weren't together when I recorded my part, but yeah. And then I've just known them forever. I played with them in Melbourne at the Melbourne, was it amphitheater or something like that? It's a really beautiful outdoor place. And then yeah, and have seen them on multiple tours, and we whenever we're in each other's towns through passing through, we always say hi. So yeah, just like cool lifelong mates for sure.
Do you have any music collaborations happening at the moment?
Uh I just did I just did something with Claude Von Stroke, and I believe I just worked with Fred again, and I don't know if something will happen with the track, but we recorded a couple tracks. We've jammed on a couple tracks and got some really good stuff. So who knows? But that's probably the latest that I know of. And I'll probably be working with Craig Richards soon. And yeah, those are the things I know most
Yeah.
soonest.
What was the first concert you ever went to? Music concert?
It was Fugazi at in Missoula, Montana, like 1986, 1987.
Okay. And you followed those guys right through to the end?
I didn't really follow them. I had friends who were fans of theirs, and I grew up in Montana, so we all decided to go and see the show. So that was the first time I'd really heard Fugazi, and was at that show. And then I didn't really actively listen to their music or anything like that. But when I was on tour with Conan O'Brien, opening for Conan O'Brien, um, yeah, that was interesting because we played Washington D.C. and backstage in the hallways between the dressing rooms, Ian MacKaye, the singer, um, was there in the hallway and introduced himself, and I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" And then we just kind of shot the shit. I told him that, he was the first concert I ever saw, and he was like tripping out about that. And then we like got each other's contact, and then we stayed in contact. So whenever I'm in DC, I usually hang out with Ian. I went to his birthday party that was in Elysian Park this year. Well, we just see each other a lot. Got him to go to the Conan. What am I thinking of? Mark Twain Prize Awards. I got him to go to that, and it was really funny to see him in that crowd. But yeah, anyways, I've just known him for a long time, but I not don't really know their music that well, which is just funny. We're just friends.
Yeah. So what are you into at the moment? What's on your playlist?
Uh, Gosh, what was I listening to a lot? I mean, I'm always like, bands are all over the place. But I've been listening to uh there's a guy named Batu who's a producer that I saw at Houghton Music Festival. Joy Orbison, big fan of. Um, and I'm trying to think of band wise. I mean, the Marias, love the Marias, love Goon. Trying to think of another band that's like a really good band. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and there's like some hardcore bands as well. There's a band called Nice that's really, really amazing. Their singer is incredible. She's just one of the best screams in hardcore for sure, and looks incredible. She's like a mega star. But anyways, yeah, so that's who I've been listening to probably the most. There's probably other things I just can't think of them right now.
So when you're here in Australia in no, November, what shouldn't we expect?
What shouldn't you expect? I guess you shouldn't expect me not to perform. I
Okay.
guess that would be something to not expect, to expect me not to perform. Yeah, that would be the thing.
Yeah. And what do you expect from your audiences during a show? What's the ideal situation?
I mean, it's just, you know, people enjoying themselves, hopefully, having a weird, fun, awesome time. That's what I'm trying to provide. I want it to be a really cool, fun, uh, experience, that's kind of shared and, kind of, in a way, kind of co-created, like I'm using their energy to make what I'm feeling in the moment and vice versa. So, yeah, so those are the expectations, I guess. But usually I just don't have any expectations. I just want my base thing is like just fucking rock it, try to do the best you can and have a really good time and care about the audience and everything should be fine.
Yeah. One more and I'll let you go. Bucket list things, the things in the back of your mind you really want to get to one day.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to make a short film. I'm really looking forward to doing that. Um, and I think that can happen hopefully this year. That would be great.
Yeah. Oh, Reggie, it's been great to chat, and we look forward to seeing you down here in November.
Sounds good, man. Can't wait to get back. I'm so stoked.
Yeah.